right. Hello, crew. Hello, viewers. Whew, what a season. What a what a episode. All right, so let's do our regular wrap up. We'll touch on your character arcs and whether you get some joy or despair. Um, I mean, should we leave the best for last or start with it? Let's start with it. Alex, I mean, you got to get a joy for that. Come on,
Oh, oh yes, do I?
you successfully brought back the interesting thing, by the way, is how you worded that, because how you word it matters not in terms of whether it would work or not, because time and causality is all different in the actuality anyway. I mean, you're literally living in the past. The Everything was created in the future, and we're rushing towards it. But you brought him back. You didn't undo the murder. Like you undid the effect, right? But like you didn't phrase it to like undo what you did, but just to bring him back,
Yeah.
a consumed soul, which is interesting.
Well, because I think that Emma believes that there's no such thing as redemption, right? So
Right.
even if she does, but even if she brought Tora back literally like the second after she killed him, so that like nothing about his life was affected in the slightest, I think she knows deep down that she will always be the person who killed him, even if he's never been killed.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think that's where she's coming from on that, where like it's not about undoing anything to her.
Yeah. And I think too, if you had of undid it, it doesn't necessarily affect causality because it's not the gray, right? So like it's not like the the things that you did that for wouldn't have happened. It doesn't like erase everything outwards. Um, but I think if you had did that, oh boy, would you had some demons hunting you down for undoing it? Because I think they would know. So, yeah, that's
Well,
interesting.
glad I don't have that then.
That's right. You like recreated a soul from scratch. So yes, is there anything on your character arc that advances at the moment?
Well, that completes the resolution of the uh, uncover a secret arc because I know this shit works now, and I have
Oh
given away the
yes,
secret.
that's right.
So the
So
so
that's
that everything about that has been resolved, and
so
that's
that's an acumen. Yeah,
and that's the climax of redemption. I don't remember if that's 2 or 3, but I'll check that later.
yeah. So that would be the climax of redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah. So two character arcs you've kind of closed because like there's the resolution, but the climax is it's mostly done.
There is the resolution to redemption, but we'll probably play that out in the side scene. Honestly, I'll just get everyone
Yeah.
together and do that moment. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Okay. Wow. Big night
oh,
for
yeah,
Emma Elizabeth.
right.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna go this counter or clockwise order. So Henrietta.
Cool. Uh yeah, I mean, I feel like we reached the climax of this arc that I've totally had since day one.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. Because like assuming that you complete the ritual, which I didn't detail out, but I think it'll be easy to do, not like a
Yeah.
big thing. Then like doing that as the resolution kind of makes sense. The climax was like meeting Orson and like making the
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So, and then dark basement and for most Oh, yeah, I can clarify. So, basically this whole thing started the very first episode, the first thing that we ever did was Henry finding a photograph in the ceiling of her home of this demon and a woman um, with just like the inscription Midnights on the back. And we had decided when we were doing our sort of world building that that there was a question of ownership of Henrietta's house and that the owners of the bodega above her basement dwelling were basically trying to say that they owned it. So it led us all on this very long, drawn out path, all over the suns. We went to the blue, went to the green, even went to the red to find a way to get to the green. So yeah. So essentially, Henrietta meeting with this guy that she had been getting clues about all over Saturnine was her finally at least achieving a semblance of ownership of the place that she's been living. Hope that helps.
Yeah. And what do we think, Henrietta? Joy, despair, neither?
I don't know. There's nothing really that would fit. I mean, I think maybe I could make a thin argument for Joy that she feels like she helped with her weaving in this like really big ritual. But that's more of a interpersonal relationship.
Regular joy, not metaphysical joy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. All right. So continue around. What about Lucky?
I think that Alice and I probably completed our bond arc, even though she is not in a physical form, but we showed each other our secret souls, and that seems like a really big deal.
It does. I think that's definitely, it's at least the climax of that arc. There might be like a one-step resolution.
Yeah.
But again, that could be a side scene between the two of you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think definitely the climax, which is worth more. It's like either 2 or 3 acumen usually.
Nice. Yeah, I'd have to look that up, but I think that we completed that, which I also think I would get a joy from.
Yeah, and then oh right, and so the that one in particular, you get to make a decision on the resolution between one of the rewards or taking like an actual bond, like how your NPC bonds.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we wanted to take the bond.
The bond is great because if you're then
Yeah.
helping them in anything, the bond always layers in on the venture. So
right, there was some sort of bond in particular we wanted. It was like a magical bond.
Yeah, there's literally types of bonds like
Yeah.
romance, friendship, and yeah.
Yeah, but this one's like a best magic friends bond. That's the one that we wanted to do.
Yeah, which
So,
makes
yeah.
sense with the revealing of the secret souls, and you're like entangled, right? So
Yeah. Which
perfect.
I still don't quite understand why Alice was suddenly like, does anybody want to share souls?
She doesn't like being the only person that's on one side of the only person.
Equation.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, I got your back.
Yeah.
Stepped up to bat and showed you my abyss. That was a good and weird moment, I have to say.
I liked it. That was a great description, Sam.
Oh, thanks.
I like the sort of folding into a black hole.
Yeah.
It was very neat. That's
thought about staring into an abyss.
Absolutely. Matthew W. Foreman in chat has asked us what we love most about Invisible Sun. I think for me, the easy answer is everything. But there's both mechanical things that appeal to me. But by and large, it's also just the absolute theme and tone of so much of the spells and abilities, and so that sort of dark surreal stuff just for me it's just mwah. I just love it. I love it. It lets me unleash everything about tentacles and stone flesh and teeth falling out, weird stuff. So I just that's for me is the great part that I love. So what about everybody else?
My favorite. Oh, go ahead.
No, you do it. Do the thing.
I was just gonna say my favorite part is the character arcs.
Mm.
Yep. That's all.
Oh, they're great. My favorite thing is how it's only limited by your own imagination, like more so than even to a big like D&D still has these very like rigid sort of things. It's very constructed. With Invisible Sun is I really appreciate how limitless it is and how much it relies on improv and just thinking on your feet and thinking like, what's the weirdest thing I can come up with? We can do it in this game. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite bit.
I was talking with. I'm sorry, Alex. You can go
No,
ahead.
no, you go ahead. You started talking first.
I was talking with some people just the other night, actually, about how I really like this trend in games of kind of creating the world together,
Mm-hmm.
rather than. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. Rather than DM saying, "Here's where you are and here's what you're doing," getting to kind of decide as players what your environment or goals are, and then the DM working with you to achieve that
Mm-hmm.
instead of the other way around. I really like, because I feel like it's a great way to get the players more invested in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just really fun. It's fun to go to Dan and say, I want to do this, and he's like,
Yeah.
okay, great. How do you want to do it? You know?
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's my favorite part, honestly.
Yeah, I think like to sort of add on to that, like as a generally low prep, high improvisation GM, like that's what the system is built for. Like quite literally, the GM instructions on prep are about how the script is flipped, right? So it's player initiative, and it really tells you to like prep a couple of cool NPCs, prep a couple of cool locations, but you're not tying the NPC to the location or whatever else because you don't know what the players are going to want. You just need a cool person, some obstacles, and like a cool location so that whatever they do, you can use those. So like there's a lot of the time where there's a maker named X and like here's a shop named Y, and like you just need a place and you go and it serves whatever story purpose it needs. So I just focus on like coming up with interesting details. Yeah, and book names. Yeah, some book names I just make up on the spot, and I don't know why we do so many books. I think that's just me. I just like the concept of like it's a game about people who are freaking bookworms. So like have cool books that have spells and secrets in them.
I have three favorite things, but I'm going to go through the first two real fast because I think they can be dealt with real fast. I love the character arcs. I love how much control they give you over your character. I feel like with everyone's base base of knowledge, I feel like in this world is D&D. You have to be like real intentional in D&D about developing a character arc, whereas Invisible Sun, like it's weird to make that a mechanic, but making it a mechanic like makes it just so much easier to do. So I really like that. I really like the conception that like this game has also baked in extracurricular RP that's to be done outside the session, because now there's an expectation within the group to do outside RP. And because I have a background in doing that, and like now I can expect that of you too, and it's great. But This is probably because my only experience with Invisible Sun has been this group, but like I love this group so much. Like, I think last time we played, I think Dan referred to like just the emotional impact of that session as like the things we dare not hope for on a stream, and like that definitely describes this group. Like I could not have ever hoped for, ever conceived of such a wonderful group of people to cry in front of. So
yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I have to say that of all the groups or games I've ever played in, this has been the most like impactful, I guess. And definitely the most enjoyable, because I feel like the 5 of us, Dan included, obviously not just the players, can really play off each other and have a really similar like vibe and expectations from the game, and we kind of enjoy the same things out of role-playing games. So sorry, I feel like that all adds up to a really great game, and I feel like that's really rare to hit on, especially in streaming games. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And yeah, it's one of those things, like, you know, so often in this game, like my heart just melts. It's pretty special. Another question for everyone: have your expectations been met from both the show and personal perspective? Yeah, for me, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why we did 20 episodes for season 1, and why we'll do a bunch more for season 2. And you know, at least for me, I think it's been great. I think, yeah, Smokebeard, absolutely. Player interaction is key in streams, and we've got data, like survey data, that backs that up, right? You're all here to watch because these people are fantastic, right? So like the reason you like the stream is that the group interacts well, and they click, and you enjoy the individual people, and you watch, right? And I mean, that's one of the things with VR as a community in general, right? We build a community because then we all want to watch each other's shit. Right? So like we hang out and we watch what everyone's doing, and it's great. So that, I think that's, it's all intertwined for me, but I mean, this is like such a key thing that absolutely has met all my expectations and then some. And yes, Corey, that is a fantastic point. One of the reasons that we can do this is because like our chat is active, and like people come out and watch and talk to us on Twitter, and you know, give us positive feedback. Like that all means so much, because this is hard to do. Like it's a really hard thing to do, and so like having that positive reinforcement like really matters and makes a big difference. I know when we have like, if we have a slow night, right? Because you know, we've had slow nights where, you know, people are busy, people are doing stuff, they can't come in, they can't watch, and we totally understand. But like the game doesn't feel the same. But when like chat is on and flying and I can't even keep up with it, like my energy levels are just up to here all night.
Well, and I can say, as a total newcomer to this community, and like this is the first game that I've ever streamed, I had never even heard of Invisible Sun. It's been a crazy freaking ride, like being involved with everyone, and just, yeah, I don't know. It's been very welcoming and very humbling to just be like, okay, hey, yeah, we're gonna all hang out, and people being like, what lipstick are you wearing?
What lipstick are you wearing tonight, by the way?
I don't remember. It's some new. It's a sample I got. I think it's NARS. It's called like Satin. It had some weird French name. I don't know. It's NARS lipstick. This is Sephora just free sample thing. You know when you just sit there on your Sephora cart, just me, and it's just like, oh, keep putting coupons in. It's just like, okay, keep putting 2 coupons in. It's just like, you got all this free shit. Like, cool, thank you. Thank you. You're just like, oh wow, and then you get like this giant box and it's just filled with samples. It's just like, I don't remember ordering this. Anyway, rolling back, yeah, it's just been, you know, I literally am part of this game because I am friends with Sam, and she said, I'm playing in Dragon Heist, you should come hang out. Here's the link. And I saw Corey play a bard named Prince. And everyone's just like, we're gonna play Invisible Sun. You should come play Invisible Sun. I was just like, is that like some sort of T&D supplement adventure? And they're just like, nah, idiot, come hang out. So I did. And 20 episodes later, here I am. So thanks. Big
Well,
thank you.
It also means a lot to us that you guys are invested in our characters as well, I think. Because obviously everybody wants to play a character that people like. So feedback from the audience and you guys liking our stories and stuff is really touching, actually.
I think it's like especially so true because when it comes to your characters like part of you that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
That people are interested in your characters is very like, wow, you actually care about the thing that we're sharing.
Yeah, I remember when we first got our first fan art, right, with the little cartoon,
the comic, yeah, from
yeah, the
Pen of
little
Smiting.
comics from Pen of Smiting. I was like, oh my god, we got our first fan art. This is great. I also remember, I don't know, it was pretty early. I don't know if it was our first episode though. It might have been, but like the first time that Money Cook Games like retweeted our stuff and like hosted. It was like, yeah, making it. There were a couple. So because Dragon Heist was brought up, there were some Dragon Heist references in chat, and yes, Dragon Heist absolutely made the channel. A few of us like started one show February 2 years ago and did that sort of every other week. But when we started Dragon Heist, it was like first or second week of October, so we're not up on the 1 year anniversary yet. But I mean that brought in 20 people, 4 games running every week, which brought in people and was great. And then I could really say, I mean, Dragon Heist cemented the channel for a few things, but I actually think Mad Mage has really built the channel to where it is. It wasn't the same in terms of like what it was doing for viewership, but it brought in like, I don't know, probably like 80 or 40 people or something into the community as players. So yeah, like so many awesome people joined through that. So yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah, I'm not seeing chat at the moment. I just know everyone's getting thirsty in there.
Dragon Heist was my first stream ever.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. You had
Wow.
like an absent player or something, and you're like, "Hey, you want to fill in my game?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, dude!" And yeah, that was the first streamed game ever.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
fun.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because well, I mean, and you were friends with Sam, right? So Sam recommended you,
yeah.
I think. So yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I am the one that draws everybody into variant roles. I'm like, come join.
Yeah.
Come
you
join
got
my streaming community.
that siren call and you're just like posing like Johnny
Join variant
Bravo.
roles.
Hey,
Well,
baby.
that would be like this, right?
Yeah. Hey, baby, come to Variant Rolls.
Come to
Hey,
variant roles.
sold that and a bag of potato chips.
Dear.
Except it's successful.
Right. Yeah. Mildly. At
Yeah.
least.
Oh dear. Toss us some more questions there, chat.
Yeah.
What you want to
Nox?
know about season 1 and
Noxx,
Season
what is
2.
happening? And what's happening is that we got the sillies.
What's happening is that we've all been drinking this entire night, and now we don't have a story to tell, so you just have to deal with us now.
I actually didn't start drinking until the very, very end in Ports and Whiskey. But now this is glass number 2, so
Yeah. Well, I drank way too much last night, so
oh yeah, Smokebeard asked if Tora remembers being killed by EE. Abso-freaking-lutely he does. Yep. He wouldn't have if EE had have like undone the original murder, then no. But yes, absolutely Tora remembers being murdered. And sacrificed and having his soul consumed by a demon and what that feels like.
it's fine.
Yep.
It's fine.
You know, future mega villain in the works.
Oh, maybe he'll team up with that assassin that
Oh
doubly
my god.
Henry blinded.
That you embarrassed.
Yeah, we didn't just embarrass him. Emma Elizabeth permanently blinded him.
Yeah, at MurderCon.
Yeah.
I mean, it can probably be undone. Like, permanent just means
Oh,
like it won't
sure.
heal.
Yeah, it wasn't
but-
a temporary effect.
Yeah, but it can be undone, like with the right magic or the changeries or something.
Yeah,
But,
it's totally
yeah.
gonna be like a Thanos situation. Just like, you took everything from me.
Mm.
I don't know who you are.
yes, Matthew Foreman, he does have his soul. He had a new soul created, essentially. Because it was consumed into nothingness, but the spell lets you do wacky stuff. And Anything RX asked if we're sticking with the same characters. And originally the answer would have been yes, 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 no.
Yeah.
But now I think it's yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was entirely planning on letting this be, the end of Emma because she's a little caustic. And, I was very much like, oh, well, what can we possibly do from here? I feel like this is the apex. Then I got 2 absolutely brutal sooth card pulls on some side scenes. And now I'm like, this is perfect. Like, narratively, like, it's so good. Because I'm still dealing with the consequences of the murder. Like, it's all, but it's so good. I love it so much. But yeah, I'm keeping Emma because of there was also some side scenes.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say Lucky and Emma had a kind of not a friendship moment, but I mean kind of.
Kind of, yeah, definitely.
Kind of. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Like they have a common goal now.
Mhm.
And I think that, just like in D&D, after your first like big fight with your new group, suddenly you're all best friends.
Yeah.
We experienced something dramatic together, and I think it was enough to finally push Lucky and Emma together to maybe not be friends, although the things they could accomplish if they were friends.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. But we've at least put aside our differences for now, I think.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they used the word friends. So
They
I'm gonna
did
take
use
my
the word friends.
I'm gonna take my victories where I can.
Yeah.
And say they're, for now, friends.
Yes. Yeah. Shockingly.
Yeah, the big fight to become friends only took 20 or 19 episodes.
19
Yes.
second episodes. Yeah,
19
right.
episodes.
Oh yeah, this is
Oh.
good. So Anything Eric's asked if we would consider doing a stream revealing any info from said side scenes.
Oh yeah.
So it depends on what we're talking about. So I know Alex and I sort of talked about summarizing those side scenes for Emma Elizabeth, but I think you want it to come out on stream in the moment during play, like natural reveal to like the other players and stuff.
At least the big one, like the really important, like the other one that's on the back burner for now. I'll take care of that when it becomes a problem. But
yeah,
like
that was minor. Like you just got conned a little bit.
Yeah, but like the real big one, like that's all of season 2 for me. Like I'll tell you right now. So like I'll let that happen when it happens.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. In terms of other stuff, absolutely. I mean, we've thought about just putting it on our Patreon and like releasing summaries. We could probably do a Q&A type episode where we just talk about side scenes and what happened. I mean, most of the side scenes, there's like a whole bunch of stuff just between players, and I only half know what happened in them because I just chime in when someone has a question and sort of just keep track. But there are a lot of just like people forming friendships. And I mean, so Emma Elizabeth has had like a few, but like most of Emma Elizabeth and Alice's side scenes are actually mechanical, like demon like summoning and like making. Um and then I mean Lucky's had like whole character arcs that have happened in side
Mm.
scenes. Poppy was mostly fleshed out through text. So yeah. And I mean those were all I mean that was a whole romance arc side scene. So romance happened.
There's a lot more to it. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
And then Lucky's had some side scenes with Alice in their develop a bond arc as well.
Oh yeah. So anything Eric said, very hyped to see what happens with Lucky's demon. Lucky's demon is gone.
Lucky's
Emma
demon's fine.
Elizabeth summoned it in a side scene and consumed it.
She put it in the cage, and at that point, I imagine she's really at liberty to do with it what she wants. Like she could summon an angel to kill it. She could literally probably give it to the Goetics, and they could do some weird shit with it. But
Yeah.
at that, like once it's in the cage, I imagine it's essentially neutralized.
Yeah, which is interesting because that then breaks a double bargain. Lucky made a bargain and Alice made a bargain, and that was part of the cost. Part of the price. And literally actually Alice made the bargain with the demon that gets involved with broken deals.
Oof.
And now that deal has been broken.
I mean,
So
you
if you're
can't
thinking
really
about
be that surprised. So
so if you're thinking about consequences that'll come up in season 2, you know who has a reputation for not following through on deals? Yep. That was pretty funny. So yeah.
I have to admit that I didn't consider any of that at the time and completely
I don't
forgot
think-
about it.
I don't think Lucky would have either.
Whoops.
Right? Like Lucky kind of lives in the moment.
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No doubt. Of course, we see where that gets him. So,
I've got a question for you four. What's your character's biggest regret from the season?
um
And not necessarily a player regret, but like a
I think that actually that's a really hard question.
I only ask the hard ones.
Oh, Dad, why? Well, I guess this is sort of Henry has a pretty big loose end with not dealing with Nadine.
Yeah.
Like
Another one just dangling out there.
Yeah, it's
who's,
just
who's Nadine?
Hiram's sister that also tried to just like wreck her life.
Oh, I don't remember any of this. This was like way early in the game.
Well, it happened
Good
in a
point.
side scene that Dan and I did where she was going to sneak in and find the lacuna.
Mm-hmm.
And then Henry's an idiot and got caught by Nadine and her like faceless dude companion bro. And she was just like, I'll just teleport out. It's fine. Because I had a teleportation spell, But then the Sooth card that Dan pulled was just like, nope, you're out of here. And so Henrietta and the Lacuna got teleported into the womb of the Life Seed Mother. Which is
Which
the
we showed-
first.
Yeah, which we did show.
Yeah,
that
on stream.
You in the womb and getting out.
Yeah, but that whole thing just like still needs resolution. And I do actually have that arc, and the final bit is either confronting Nadine or bringing information to the authorities, but I still don't feel like I have all the information to deal with that. And it just sort of like fell to the wayside of all these other problems, like us being wanted by the FBI.
Yeah. And now it's been months. How many people has Nadine murdered?
I know, Dan.
Inspect their soul.
It's probably a lot. Probably a lot of murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's
Speaking
true.
of
yeah,
murder,
that.
It's true, Matthew. Can't bring information to the authorities when you're wanted. Hello? I would like to report that someone robbed me of my drugs.
I would like to report crime.
So, what about other people? And I suppose it could be either a character regret or a player regret if you don't have if your character lives with no regrets.
I was just thinking that Alice hasn't yet realized the regrets that I think are going to.
I think Corey has them on behalf of Alice, but Alice
Yeah.
doesn't have them yet.
I do. I'm like, oh, I mean, she's already dead, but it just gets worse from here. So.
Oh yeah, death is not the worst thing that can happen to you in the actuality.
No. I think from a player's perspective, my worst thing that I'm like worried about that Alice is gonna do is she'll like at one point she'll mess something up with her relationships in some capacity, as far as like when her wife comes back, which is a whole thing, and then she'll, I don't know, screw something up in a very like irreparable way. And I think that will have to do with possibly her choosing power over, people.
Right.
Yeah.
I like how Alice is like subtly the most insidious person in the group, and no one realized it until super late in the game. And everyone was like, "Oh shit, Alice is a power-hungry maniac."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love Alice.
Crazy.
Alex, Sam. I mean, Alex probably is the easy one, but
yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of murder, clearly I feel like that's Emma's biggest regret, but I feel like based on like the vague idea I have going forward, it's going to be a problem for her longer into the future than I think she as a person or I as a player realize. And but also it's going to lead to a damn good story, and I think she's going to come out. If everything goes well, I think she's going to come out a much better person than she was going into the game, for sure. Granted, not a high bar to clear.
it's true. She was the worst.
Sorry, I don't regret anything. No.
What an entirely lucky answer.
I don't though. Like
I regret nothing.
I don't. Everything that happened led us to where we are, and it's just how it is. So, no, I don't regret anything.
That's right. We just had to commit light terrorism.
And free a ton of children. So, yeah,
I feel like
fine. I would do it again.
Free a bunch of orphans that were being fed and
Yeah.
housed in return for minor service.
No, it doesn't. No, no,
Mm.
sorry. Still not okay. Now
Yeah.
there's a bunch of lovely grandmothers, so
It's true.
it's better.
It's true. It's true. Saturnine is literally the worst.
It sounds like it's the worst, and that's my goal is to change it.
There's a reason why it's the worst. Because it's the worst. Minus Fartown. Fartown's okay.
Fartown seems okay, but I also have really weird suspicions about Fartown, so it's gonna be
Why-
fun to explore
why are
these
they
things
sticking
in
all-
season 2.
Why do they stick all those Vizsla in this one place that's not totally connected to the rest of the city?
That's what I really want to know. That's what
Because you're
I'm
dangerous.
really suspicious about.
It's because you're dangerous.
Thank you.
All right. I think it's only appropriate to ask if you players have questions for me.
What is one thing that you wanted to explore that didn't get either fully realized or not touched on at all?
I actually really kind of wanted to do like more. Like they've come up a bunch. Like there's a bunch of people who are members. But I think I would have liked to have done more with the Church of Midnight because they're interesting. What else? More angels earlier. Like more stuff with the legacy. Like we've done a little with the legacy, but I think more with it would be interesting. But I think there's room for that because the legacy is kind of super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think otherwise the Church of Midnight. I like the idea that it's kind of like the Church of Satan, but
Yeah.
you know, they also help people who are like depressed and suicidal, and apparently like actually help them. Like at least going by like the details you have in the book, that they actually like do help them. It's not like they're helping them and secretly sacrificing them or something. So they just get a weird dichotomy that I kind of like.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Henry's house is going to be a magical waypoint for the Church of Midnight, so
That's right. That's right. More's coming around.
yeah.
I had really hoped that Emma Elizabeth was going to join when she was offered membership.
I think it turned out all right in the end.
I guess we'll see what happens.
I'd say
Two.
after murdering somebody.
Yeah. All right. Well, the rest of you, any burning questions?
I kind of want to know what your character is gonna be. in the
Oh, for
future.
yeah. So while we're on breaks, and so for like season 2, we're gonna do a slightly different structure. I mean, it's gonna be a similar structure, but it's gonna actually be systemized. Our breaks, where we'll do arcs of like 4 or 5 episodes, or maybe as short as 3, as long as 5, whatever. Broken up by like weeks in between, where ideally somebody else will run games and I will play, or there might be weeks where I just totally take off. So coming up in some games, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna play a character, and yes, I might change his name, but I totally have a not rip off of John Constantine, who is a apostate. Let's see. It is, yes, the Warlock. He is an eremitic stoic apostate who dwells in darkness. And I picture him in a ratty or banged up like white shirt, like a jacket, chain smoker. Works as was perhaps either an esoteric scholar or a PI in the Grey. I think his story changes on that when he goes back to back, and works as like a magical PI in Saturnine. But he dwells in darkness, so he's made deals with the dark for his power, and he's an apostate, and he should be interesting. So yeah, he works a bit of as a magical PI. He likes to figure out who caused magical effects and undo them and like fix problems. So he's like kind of a fixer. So like a very Constantine. And I'm picturing like just arcane tattoos all over his body. Yeah. He should be fun.
Did we ever do something that just threw you for a loop?
I mean the short answer would probably be like all the time. One of the funniest was when you were trying to get to the Ash Gardens. And you had done the reconnaissance earlier and had no problem, right? And then when you were trying to find it again, you couldn't find it. Like you couldn't see it. You kept doubling back. And what totally threw me is like how long it took to like overcome that challenge and how like convoluted it got. And the like multi-layered approaches, and then like kept failing, and it was literally just, you know, it was like a magical effect that prevented it from being found by people who sought it with ill intent.
That's
Which is why,
interesting. I didn't know that's why we couldn't find it. That's very interesting.
yeah. So you could do the reconnaissance that first time because you didn't really necessarily have ill intent. You were just curious.
Right. Oh.
And so you surveyed it, but when you came back to like disrupt it, it was protected.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that.
What was your What was your favorite moment, either on stream or in a side scene, from each character?
Cool.
If you had to pick
Ooh.
one.
Ooh. Okay, so yours would be last week with your like Echo from the Gray and like kissing and just like, oh, I was just
That
gut
was
punched.
so good.
Yeah. That was like a tender moment and like melancholic, and it just had like so many emotions layered into it. Was fantastic. With Alice, I don't know. I mean, honestly, like Alice's death and killing of Nigel was also great. But I think my other favorite moment was when Alice was confronting the Vespertine agents, and the Sin Eater dagger like transformed her into a warrior angel.
Yep.
I mean, that was like partially me, but it was also the fact that Alice was like confronting them, right? That whole thing was pretty great. With Henrietta, the whole scenes with the lacuna in the womb, that was like, there was just so much, like, I didn't expect it to, I didn't know how it was going to go. But it was one of those, like, I just let it go where it went, right? And Henrietta being so like adamant on not wanting to like take the easy way out and like all of that, I thought was just fantastic. And with Lucky, I don't know, there's a bunch, because I mean there's a shit ton of like side scenes with Poppy that are just like interesting and emotional and whatever, and are just great. But also there's like the scenes in the Ash Gardens when Lucky meets the like little like spirit children, and like, because it was like, so I mean I shouldn't have been surprised because it was like so much of like Sam bleeding through into Lucky. But then like having that reflect Lucky's character, about like Lucky is like super protective of like children. So I think that whole thing was just fantastic. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see, do we have anything else hanging out in chat? Oh, if we were all Vizsla, what order would we be? So yeah, if you were actually a Vizsla in real life, I mean, technically my job makes me like a Vance, but I think more and more I'd want to be an apostate. So
I can't play characters that I don't actually relate to, so I would probably be an apostate. Although my job would probably make me a weaver,
mm,
I would say.
yeah,
But yeah, I would still have to go apostate because I'm a fucker.
That's why.
eat the rich, line them up against the wall. Oh dear.
I think I would fall into either Vance or Weaver. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm very like I have to compartmentalize a lot of work, so definitely like a professional Vance, hobbyist weaver.
I could probably see myself as either a Vance or a Goetic, I guess, because I'm an engineer. I feel like that's as close to advance as you get in real
Pretty
life.
much. Yeah,
But
that's why I figured scientists is a lot of Vance, but
yeah, but which is funny because in every in like literally everything except for Invisible Sun, I hate like the concept of dancing like magic
me too.
because like no one acknowledges how fucking weird it is.
That's right.
But like Invisible Sun is like, yeah, these very well might be like, your spells might be like little living things, and so it's supposed to be weird. So I appreciate that. But I could also probably see myself as Goetic based on their fact that they live in a fucking church and have 10 million rules.
Yeah, if I wasn't an apostate, I'd tempted towards the Goetics just because, like summon demons.
Yeah, right.
Although you can do that as non-Goetics too, but Goetics are just better at it. All right. Well, I think we've wound down and wore ourselves out. But it was good having questions, and we don't know exactly what the air date will be for Chapter 2, Season 2. So it'll just depend on schedules, but I'm guessing like endish of October, probably mid to end of October, depending. Or no, it'll be after that because Alex is tied up with some stuff, so we're gonna wait till he does that. So it's like very end of October, but there will be games in the meantime, and some of those games may feature like some of these characters, or these players playing other characters. We'll see. Plus other people. So, because we've extended our actuality and we've had the official, like, first official shared universe game over on Dice Priority, with Matthew Foreman GMing that. We've got our Vizsla, so we've got all of that. So we've got all of those characters to draw on. And I don't know, we've got like 10, 12 people with black cubes now. So we get a lot. So definitely there'll be other people GMing, and I'm gonna play, and you can meet my Constantine ripoff, and that'll be fun. And I'm gonna promote because we got to next Saturday. Well, if you want to see me as a player, next Tuesday, I'm gonna be in an Avernus one shot as we kickstart that. Our Avernus campaigns aren't going to start for a little while, but we're going to do a day of release one shot that Crime Nat is going to GM, and I'm going to play in. And I'm going to play a Tiefling Hell Knight, and that character is probably going to show up through, that's on Tuesday. That character is probably going to show up through multiple Avernus games. And Nox is going to play an angelic paladin who's going to also appear through multiple Avernus games. And on Saturday, the 21st, in Nox's Indie Showcase romance games, we're going to play a little Heaven and Hell. And I think that's the name of it. Nox can correct me if I'm wrong. And
Heaven nor hell.
Heaven nor Hell. There we go. And those characters are going to get introduced, and we'll see a little bit of their backstory in that game on Saturday. So, and they'll appear in our Avernus streams. So, come check out my voice trying to play romance games and see how I do. It'll be fun. Anyway, it'll be the backstory. So that'll be good. All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you all. And we'll see you on another Turn Around the Suns.
We'll miss you.
All right. Yes, we will miss you
Yes.
desperately. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.